Paris, chérie, mon beau Paris.
Hi people, this photograph is called Breaking Rank, and this is the one I'm going to talk about today. It was taken on Ile de la Cité in Paris, which is just round the corner from Notre Dame, in a little park, which is a park where you can find a very impressive memorial to the deportation, and it's also a park which attracts a lot of wildlife. There's a surprising number of wild birds and not so wild dogs, but if you look for it, it's there, especially birds. And there were a lot of seagulls, probably because of the boats that go up and down the River Seine. And I was looking at this wall, and there was an amazing line of seagulls. There must have been between 10 and 15 of them, all sitting in a row. And it was a marvellous line. There was an equal distance between each pigeon, and quite often they were all facing in exactly the same direction. It was very, very impressive, and a photographer's dream. So there I was, snapping away at this group of pigeons, this line of pigeons, trying to get a good angle, trying to get a nice perspective with them zooming off into the distance, getting smaller, and so on. But there was something lacking, I have to admit. And then it arrived, and it was a pigeon which slammed into this wall. I mean, didn't hit the wall, but look at it coming in there. And the wonderful thing is the almost disdainful look of the lead pigeons. Not a ruffled feather in sight, as this blur of grey mass of pigeon storms in a sort of lack of decorum absolute. And it's a lovely contrast between them. The contrasts are several in this photograph, and contrasts are things that you should look out for. You've got, of course, the white of the seagulls, the pure white, and the grey, the rather mucky grey of the pigeon. You've got the calmness and wonderful groomedness of the seagulls, whereas the pigeon, I know it's in flight, but it seems to be much less well turned out. Photographically, you've got the sharpness of the pigeons and the blur of the feathers of the pigeon. Sorry, the sharpness of the seagulls and the blur of the pigeon. You've got the pigeon which is big and close, but there's only one of him. And you've got the seagulls which are much sharper, but they're smaller, and there's several of them. So all in all, you've got a picture which doesn't immediately shout Paris at you, although because I've told you, you know it is. But you've got a photograph which is more than just a row of birds. You can almost imagine some sort of reaction between the two species, and that's the sort of thing you should look for. As many connections between the elements, but reactions between them as well, as possible, to make the photograph more interesting. Okay, that's it for that one. See you soon in Paris. Bye bye.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.